One of my goals for this channel is to help you to reclaim your ability to think better and deeper in this new world that's trying so hard to prevent you from doing that. And we can't accomplish that without talking about how to kill your phone addiction. In the next few minutes, I'll be sharing some strategies that I've used myself to help you to feel less addicted to your phone and social media. The phone is a powerful device, and if you don't learn how to control it, it will end up controlling you. If you've ever found yourself on IG without remembering why you picked up your phone in the first place, that's a perfect example of your phone controlling you. So, let's get this sorted out, shall we? But first, we need to start with how did we even get here to begin with? If you went back to 1974 and asked parents, what do you think about giving your kid a small device that has unlimited access to unlimited channels and video games 24/7, but that same device will allow you to be able to contact them whenever you want? Would you want to give your child that device? Any sensible parent would say that's a bad deal. Sure, it's great that they're able to contact them whenever, but the trade-off isn't worth the potential brain rot that they're introducing to their child. I use this extreme example to highlight a point. And far too often, technological advancement always comes with advantages and disadvantages. We focus more on the advantages without paying too much attention to the disadvantages. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. When man discovered fire, he unlocked the power to cook his food. He unlocked the power to brighten the night and ward off danger. And he unlocked the power to forge weapons. But with that discovery, he also unlocked the power to destroy himself and everything he cares about. Man had to learn to master this new technology. And in learning to master fire, he first had to learn to use it responsibly. The problem that you and many of us face in this modern age is that we don't use our phone responsibly. But it's not 100% our fault. It's also engineered to be highly addictive, which we'll talk about later. But we wouldn't need to have this conversation if we used it more responsibly. And that's what we're going to talk about first. For many of us who grew up in the 90s and 2000s, the first thing we did after school was go home and turn on the TV. I know because that's exactly what I did. I had homework and other chores to do, but the lure of that dark screen just staring back at me always enticed me to just turn it on. Now that I think about it, if you grew up in that time, there was hardly a household you would walk into that didn't have a TV on, right? There was always something there. And that just showed me that everyone was always trying to fill the silence with something. And at the time, the most appropriate thing to fill the silence with was the television. And even if you're not from that generation, just look around. It hasn't changed much. Now everyone has their own personal TV in their hands in the form of phones and iPads. So we had access to hundreds of channels from a cable box. One day our box got an upgrade, and with that upgrade came parental management. That's when my mom decided to slap a password on the box, which she would only unlock on weekends and when she came home from work at 8 p.m. Of course, 10-year-old me thought this was bullshit. My 5 hours of TV time got cut to just 1 hour from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., which was after my mom watched the news from 8 to 9. I hated this restriction, but it allowed me to stop getting into trouble in school for my homework. It allowed me to not grow up to be socially awkward because then I had to go out and play with the other kids. I even started to read more, and I had those red encyclopedias that I only used for homework. Now I would just read for fun. Without the TV to distract me, I became way more curious about life and my environment around me. And reading does a whole lot of wonders for a child's brain. I hope you see the point I'm making here. If we're going to kill our smartphone addiction, we need to engineer some restrictions. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? For most people, it's checking their phones. That's where their day's first hit of dopamine comes from. But that's totally wrong. Here's how I restructured my mornings to kill my smartphone addiction. First, instead of reaching for my phone, I reach for a pen and a notebook. I tried to write down any dreams I had. If I didn't have any dreams, I'd write down what I need to accomplish for the day. I might also write down any thoughts I'm having, and you might call this journaling, but I don't like to call it that. Then after writing, I'll go drink some warm water, and then I'll do some light stretching. When I wake up at 6, I don't see my phone until 8 a.m. So 2 hours. I recommend you to do this because the quietness of the morning allows your mind to really focus on what's important to you. It allows your mind to wander and focus on the really important aspects of life. Not whatever bullshit you have going on at work or school. I'm talking about the things that really matter. Life, happiness, love, health, wealth, purpose, meaning. These are universal struggles. And the average person is down bad in all these areas because they simply haven't allocated enough time to think about these things. You need the mornings for that. Because once you step out the door, you're stepping into chaos, and you simply won't have time during the day to really think about these issues. If you start your day off by interacting with your phone as opposed to interacting with your own mind, you will become like most people who go about life on autopilot, like NPCs. Their brains are literally offline because they haven't turned it on. Next, take a look at your home screen. Notice how colorful everything is. This is another source of stimulation that's causing your addiction. Studies have shown that excessive colors overstimulate the brain. Every app is fighting for your attention, and they're bombarding your brain with hits of dopamine to get you to open them. This not only makes you more likely to be addicted to your phone, but it also fragments your attention and makes it harder for you to focus on higher quality thoughts. It's subtle. You might not feel it happening, but trust me, it is. It's making you slowly dumber. You need to make your phone boring. Think of it like this. If you're trying to lose weight, do you think it's a good idea to keep ice cream in your kitchen? Of course not. So we have to remove the ice cream. I'm going to show you something. Go to settings, accessibility, display and text, color filters. Toggle color filters on and select grayscale. Voila, ice cream gone. If you're on Android, you can figure out how to do this. Grayscale makes your phone so boring that it makes you want to get off it as soon as possible. Studies have shown that grayscale reduced daily screen time by an average of 20 to 50 minutes. It has been linked to better sleep and less digital eye strain. The change is drastic and very uncomfortable, but honestly, you need this to break your addiction and protect your focus. For perspective, try it for just 1 hour. When you switch back to regular mode, you'll feel the dopamine hit. Yes, there are situations when you will need to switch back. On iPhone, you can set up a shortcut that toggles it on and off by triple pressing the side button. Instructions are here. The book Hooked: How to Build Habit-Forming Products is one of the product design bibles of app development. Allow me to read you a few highlights. Today, amassing millions of users is no longer good enough. Companies increasingly find that their economic value is a function of the strength of the habits they create. In order to win the loyalty of their users and create a product that's regularly used, companies must learn not only what compels users to click, but also what makes them tick. Even small startup teams can profoundly change behavior by guiding users through a series of experiences I call hooks. The more often users run through these hooks, the more likely they are to form habits. Habit-forming products change user behavior and create unprompted user engagement. The aim is to influence customers to use your product on their own again and again without relying on overt calls to action such as ads or promotions. Once a habit is formed, the user is automatically triggered to use the product during routine events. Trigger. A trigger is an actuator of behavior, the spark plug in the engine. Habit-forming products start by alerting users with external triggers. So on your phone, the external triggers are push notifications, app badges, app sounds. Just look how visually noisy all of this is. Go into settings and remove app badges. Silence all notifications except the most important ones. Personally, I only need WhatsApp and my bank notifications. Everything else doesn't matter. Most people don't audit their phones. They install countless apps they don't need and give all of them access to their attention. Don't do this. Back in 1984, a phone was just a tool for communication. It was ugly and boring. It wasn't something people would get excited about. I think that all changed in 2007 with the iPhone, or maybe even a bit earlier with the BlackBerry. I want you to stop and think just how amazing these devices are. These things replace the pager, the post office, the telephone, the TV, the camera, the video camera, photo albums, MP3 players, and even handheld consoles. At some point between 2010 and maybe around 2018, not having a phone became abnormal. The phone shifted from a want to a nice to have, and now it's an absolute necessity. It's a powerful device. One of the reasons we get addicted to our phones is because it does so much. And when we get a new phone, it's easy to get addicted because of the excitement of getting something new. So we tend to lose control. That is why I believe in upgrading your phone as infrequently as possible. If you notice the pattern here, it's about making your phone as unappealing to use as possible. If you want to murder your phone addiction, you need to make it as dull and boring as possible. Its purpose is to be a utility only. This is why many people opt for dumb phones. If this appeals to you, you can try it, but personally, I think dumb phones are just too impractical for daily use, so the better move would be to just tame the monster in your pocket and use it responsibly. Most people find themselves doom scrolling when they need to wait, or they're on the toilet, or on some form of transportation, or when they're eating. If you consume social media this way, it's the same as munching on unhealthy snacks throughout the day, and you know exactly what would happen to your body if you continue to do this every single day, right? That's exactly what you're doing to your mind by not scheduling specific eating windows for consuming content on social media. If you feel that your focus is not what it used to be, if you feel that you can't articulate your thoughts clearly, that's probably why your intellect is rotting. So, what do we do about it? I like to schedule 20 to 30 minutes of social media use after dinner at around 8 to 9 p.m. That's usually the only time I'll open Instagram or X or Reddit. I'm very strict with the time allotted. Once I open the app, I have about 30 minutes to catch up on messages, watch stories, and just scroll. When I need to post something, the time window is more flexible because then I'm creating content, not consuming it. Sometimes I do slip and find myself in the app when I shouldn't be, but I promptly get myself out until it's the right time. It's much easier to do when your phone is in grayscale and you don't have notifications all the time trying to hook you back in. You see where this all comes in now? When you find yourself waiting, fill that time with learning, reading, or just thinking. If you have a 20-minute commute, what's so bad about just thinking? Observing the people around you, the environment, allowing your mind to wander, that's fine too. In fact, you can tap into your brain's default mode network if you allocate just 15 minutes to doing this. This state of consciousness actually allows you to access genius level insights and intuition. People who have changed the world with their minds, such as Einstein, Isaac Newton, Tesla, and more, regularly made time to access this state. I have a video on this topic if you're interested. Check the link in the description. So yeah, that's how I broke my phone addiction. And you can do it too if you just follow the simple steps here that I've outlined in this video. Thanks for watching, and share this with someone who you think needs to break their phone addiction. We all have someone who needs to learn the strategies here in this video. If you have any strategies you'd like to share, drop them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.